This is the brand spanking new 2021 Mazda 3 2.5 liter turbo. Today we're going to be talking about this very interesting car and why it kind of brings Mazda back into the game, in my opinion, but also appropriately parked next to our Miata. Mazda's always been about fun and driver experience no matter the car they sold. Oh my gosh, is this the return of the MazdaSpeed3? It's a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with all-wheel drive rather than front-wheel drive. So is this new Mazda turbo similar to the Speed 3? Or is it going in a completely different direction? So after a few days of having it, here are my thoughts on the new Mazda 3 Turbo. All right, safety first. Electronic parking brake that I always forget about. Man, do I miss manual ones. All right, I'm gonna put this puppy in sport mode. All right, so Mazda 3 2.5 Turbo. What do I think of it? Well, I've had the car for about 3 days now. It's a really interesting car in so many ways. The interior is just ridiculous. You guys are gonna be like, David, you're absolutely crazy when I say this. The interior of this car for $36,000 feels a lot like the Porsche Taycan, or Taycan, however you wanna say it. Hear me out. The red stitching on the dash, the red seats, the material on the steering wheel feels almost the same. I'm getting basically flashbacks for when I had the Taycan, except, you know, it's not ridiculously fast, making people sick. This is literally the nicest Mazda interior I've ever seen in their entire history. So $36,000 for the Mazda 3 Turbo. And here's the thing though, the Mazda 3 was always a very accessible car. It was always a car that was great for a first car for many people because it still had that sense of sportiness to it, especially the hatchbacks. Not even the Speed 3, because even the normal Mazda 3 drove pretty fun for what it was. But this is much more of a luxury car. And I know that sounds very strange, but it also explains why it's so much more expensive than, say, its $20,000 counterparts or $25,000 counterparts of the past. So right here is the center console, and I'm gonna show you why I think the center console is so clever. Tough times, tough measures, got our mask here, but this is where the USB port is for, say, Apple CarPlay or Android Music or anything along those lines. So I'm gonna close this, and if you notice, it leaves a gap right here if you want to quickly access the cable. But then I take it, and if I want to seal it all the way, I can. So if my passenger wants to be like, hey, can I switch? All you have to do is pull on this and go like that. You don't have to open it all the way. It's very nice and convenient. So we have a heated steering wheel, heated seats, Apple CarPlay, and a fully digital centerpiece of the dash. When it comes to the materials, I just can't get over it. Like, I could talk about this interior all day long. We have Apple CarPlay, the digital dash is great. Yesterday, I went up to the mountains to really feel what the performance of the car felt like. I went up there very naturally. I just put on a GoPro and just said a few of my thoughts, so let's cut to that. My only main complaint about the Mazda 3 Turbo, and I'm pretty much the only one, is on really sharp turns, say like this Georgia back road I'm on right now, is the steering ratio. Everywhere else on like sweepers and more long bends, it's perfect. But the sharper the turn, I have to add way more steering than I would in, say, a Miata or something like that, excuse me. What's interesting about the automatic is that it has paddle shifters and a Tiptronic system. So if you want to do it down here, you can, for the up and down, for the gear changes, or paddles. But I prefer the paddles because they actually have a pretty good response and they're not too slow. The all-wheel drive system is actually very good though. I like it a lot, and it is good in several situations. The motor too makes a really nice deep sound to it. I was really worried that this 4-cylinder was gonna be a little raspy and gross with an obnoxious purple tune on it, like everything seems to do nowadays. See, as you can see, it has a ton of pros. The only thing I said was the steering. The steering is incredibly light, but that's where I want to go into talking about the luxury feel of the car. I don't have to yell at you at all. The Speed 3s, they're pretty loud cars. They didn't ride that well in comparison to this. With this nice interior, with the all-wheel drive system, you're not getting that torque steer that the Speed 3 had. So the first thing that you probably want to know about is the power. What kind of horsepower does this car make? So I'm gonna go ahead and downshift. So it threw me back into the seat a little bit. It's plenty quick enough for what it is. It's got 250 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's got 320 foot-pounds of torque. So that's what you're going to be feeling more, especially in the low end on the street. The Skyactiv engines are so fascinating to me because of their high compression. The first Skyactiv engines were so interesting to me because of how good their gas mileage was using the high compression. The Skyactiv Turbo with 93 octane, that's where you're getting the full power, and that's why the turbo is able to spool so fast. Plus, the turbos on these things are itty bitty. They're very small. So that's why it's great for the street, just to toot around in, because you have all that power very quickly, no lag. You're not gonna get that dramatic sensation that the Speed 3 gave you of, oh man, I gotta control the torque steer and I need to do this to keep it straight, which a lot of people liked because it gave them a thrill. It's that scare factor. This car does not give you a scare factor whatsoever. Once again, that's why I think it's kind of unfair to compare this to the MazdaSpeed 3, because one, it's all-wheel drive and that one was front-wheel drive. The Speed 3 was also a while ago. Mazda is a very different company than it used to be. And the fact that they really didn't have any performance cars other than the Miata, it was kind of sad because I love how Mazdas drive. I mean, the RX-8, sure, it was super unreliable, but at the same time, it was very fun to drive. I don't care what people say. Like, the handling in the RX-8 was so much fun because it was basically an NC Miata chassis, so makes sense. Also, I love that modern cars just come with heads-up displays now. It used to be the coolest thing in the world to have a heads-up display, but now it's pretty much a given. It's so much safer too if you think about it, because you have the speed limit there, you have your speed there, it tells you when stop signs are coming up. That's a big one for me because usually I have never seen heads-up displays say, hey, there's a stop sign coming. Because sometimes around a blind corner, you don't know if there's a stop sign there if you're in an area that you're unfamiliar with. I get excited about these little things. Also, the steering wheel just feels great. The heated steering wheel, heated seats, feels great. The seats in this thing are incredibly comfy. When I went up to the mountains, it was an hour drive there. Then I drove up there probably 3 more hours, then came back down, and my back never hurt. I had a skateboarding injury when I was 16, and my lower back hurts all the time, just like my upper back. I get muscle spasms sometimes. Me sitting in the seat and not feeling that at all, that's a good testament to me. I will say though, visibility is a little weird. The back windshield is super tiny. I mean, it's insanely small. So when you look in the rear view mirror, you're kind of threading the needle with your vision. The styling made it have a low roofline. Now let's talk about styling. I absolutely love the styling of this car. I would not change the front bumper, especially one bit. It has this integrated painted gloss black lip in it. It looks mean. I like the little ducktail on the back. I like the exhaust. I like how aggressive the taillights are. All in all, I think if there was a new MazdaSpeed3, this is what it would look like. I think it looks aggressive. I think it looks great, and it goes with Mazda's modern design language very well. I think the Mazda 3 right before this one was almost there, but I like this one a lot more. And when I tell people that it's turbocharged, they go, oh really? Like, they get excited because a Mazda with a turbo, man. People want to hear about it. We also have the lane assist system, which in any car, I understand for some drivers, but for me, it's just not for me because I don't like the wheel being yanked to the right. I do not like that sensation. It's just not for me. It was just like that in the Supra as well, the new Supra. Where the screen is on the dash, it's just angled enough towards the driver to where it never has a glare on it. Meanwhile, the glare on the Supras, which was pretty much in the same spot, but it was perfectly horizontal on the dash, always had glare on it, no matter what. You can never see what was on it. We also have the 360 parking assist, which is my favorite feature that comes in modern cars ever. Especially when you're in a car you're not familiar with the depth perception or where the nose is or where the back is. For me, who reviews new cars all the time, or cars I've never driven before all the time, 360 cam parking is the best thing ever. So I just stopped for a minute to show you how the 360-degree parking works. I'm going to put it in reverse because that's usually how it triggers the fastest. Get a 360-degree view of everything. So if you go look at the Mazda 2.5 Turbo as a car to buy, I think it's a great car. I really do. I think it's a really cool direction for Mazda. Now, if they made a speed version of this, sign me up. I would love to drive it. And I understand that that's probably not gonna happen because it'd be like, well, David, that's a turbo. That's a turbo Mazda 3. So is the Mazda 3 Turbo a new Speed 3? No. But at the same time, maybe Mazda just isn't trying to have it be. In conclusion, it's still a very nice car. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I upload every Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.